everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week of November the 1st through the 7th. So let's get started here and see what are the major themes here for Aquarius as they move through their week. Ask body, soul work, and the revolutionary. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, just from that alone, that really tells me that your week is going to involve you needing to really connect with the mind and the body and the soul on a very profound level to understand what you're needing to do that's new. This revolutionary card always reminds me of the Ace of Wands, which is a time where we're really looking at initiating something from spirit. And I think the pathway for you, Aquarius, to get there is going to be by listening to your body in terms of the senses your body can pick up on, okay? And then also the soul. What are the messages coming to you from your body and from your soul as it relates to the spirit? And what is the will that you are feeling the desire to express? This is a very interesting message for you, Aquarius, where I feel like you're being asked to tap in to not only the physical, but also the spiritual, and that there may be something causing a discomfort for you physically right now, Aquarius, which is why we're being asked here to reflect on what are the messages coming to you from your body. What are the messages coming to you from your body as they relate to what's happening to you on a soul level? And I feel like right now you're experiencing a lot of restless creativity, stirring passions of inspiration. You're fantasizing, you're daydreaming, something new. It's like you have discovered something new, and I feel like you need to communicate whatever this is. So let's see what energy comes in here to support Aquarius as they go through the body, mind, and soul to understand the spirit. So really holistic journey this week for you, Aquarius. Okay, so direction, intention, and solitude are the energies that will support you. So direction to me really relates to understanding the path forward. So to me, the direction really resonates with this revolutionary card. The message on direction says, please show me the right action right now. Please bring a sign and a miracle that gives clear direction. May I hear the promptings of my own body. And if for some reason I'm about to head in the direction that's wrong, please stop me. So very interesting that this direction card really does seem like sort of a wayfinder. Like we're looking for the path forward with our wands. Our Ace of Wands here giving us that same message here in the revolutionary card, but also the idea of bringing in the body. This direction card mentions that. May I hear the promptings of my own body. So again, we're getting that message that this is not just coming at you, Aquarius, on a spiritual level, but also on a very physical level. You are starting to feel uncomfortable. You're starting to feel that the body is starting to actually send you some messages as well, which is very interesting, I think, here as you proceed on a direction that's new. This ace of this really looks like an Ace of Wands to me. That revolutionary card really suggests you're heading on a new direction. It's going to involve the work that your soul was meant to do this round, and your body is giving you significant clues. Now, intention here says, intention is simply allowing the will and the mind to align and move in harmony. May I always focus on the highest. My intention is all the universe wishes for me to come true. So this is really about what is the alignment between the will and the mind. That really says to me that this is something that is coming at you in all kinds of ways. It's coming at you from your spirit, it's coming at you from your body, and it's coming at you from your mind. And so this is an encompassing energy, Aquarius, that seems like it's really dominating you right now. This idea of your direction and what to do next is very top of mind for you this week. Now, solitude here says, once you embrace the inner divine and your own sacred solitude, the right people arrive at exactly the right time, on schedule, without forcing or chasing. And to me, that really talks about this idea of the divine plan, the soul work, the stuff that you're feeling driven to do this. And it all ties in with your direction, your intention, what the body is saying, what the mind is saying, and what the intuition is guiding you towards. And you need some time alone to think about this. This solitude here suggests to me that this is not something that you're going to figure out over a coffee with a girlfriend or a boyfriend. This is something that you need to just be looking at on your own very honestly, to understand here that chasing things or trying to force a schedule is not the way. We must trust in the divine timing and understand our intention to see the direction in which we want to move forward. It's very interesting. These messages are very consistent here for you. Now, let's see what kind of frequency can you tap into to help yourself with this, Aquarius, as you go through the mind, body, soul connection to greater understand the direction you will take with this newfound energy that you seem to have, this inspired, restless, creative energy that dwells within you, that is pushing you towards something, but you're not quite sure what the direction is, because I think you're still trying to figure out what the intention is. And that's why you need some solitude. You need some time away from the external world to sort of piece this all together. Now, the frequencies coming through for you are the cosmic flower, delight, and solar plex. And I just want to bring to your attention that cosmic flower and delight actually are sequentially together, 18, 19, very well shuffled deck. So seeing two sequential numbers come out like that for you with solar plex, that says something to me. To me, that really says that we need, let's start with the cosmic flower. The frequency of the cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So when I see this card with what I'm seeing already for you, my feeling for you, Aquarius, is that you're missing something. You're longing for something. Something feels missing when you evaluate your day, and you can feel it on a mind, body, and soul level. And it feels like something is missing. Something that feels like home is no longer present for you. And that is where I feel this restlessness coming from you, where you're looking for a direction to call back home. And this could be a remembrance of a past life. This could be a remembrance of something that happened in this lifetime, but is found its finality, like it's no longer in your immediate life. This is interesting. Something is calling out to you, and you are searching for a direction to find it. That's actually quite beautiful. I feel like you are tied to something energetically, Aquarius, and it's calling out to you, and you can feel it on all the levels. You can feel it on all the levels. Very interesting. but I feel like you might not have the confidence to hear the call, and I feel like that's where intention is coming in with this solar plex chakra. The frequency of solar plex, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, our willpower, as well as knowing who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. I feel like that's where intention comes in here, is that you're looking for some confidence, some knowledge about how to be more grounded in that sense of personal power, so that you can go after whatever it is that you want. You're looking for your intention, and you need to ask your body. So it's interesting. The solar plex is the personal power center. It's your confidence. It's your I can statements. And it's the number 3, which really suggests to me this idea of taking that first step to really understand one's intention towards a greater direction, a greater direction. And I feel like you're going to need to do that, like we said, in solitude, by looking at the soul work. And we see the delight frequency here, which supports our capacity to create experiences of feeling intense joy and happiness. The more we delight, we feel. The more we delight, we evoke in others. So the more delight we evoke in others. Sorry, I read that funny. Let me read that for you again. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. Thank you. And that's because we're all connected. And I feel like you're irrevocably connected to something or someone. And that's your true north. You're trying to guide yourself back to that experience, back to that individual, back to that moment, back to what felt like delight. And you need to explore that in solitude by evaluating what is it about that experience that gave you that intense joy and happiness, and how can you have the capacity to create that experience for yourself. I feel like that is something that Aquarius needs to really discover this month. It's going to be very relevant for you to sort of understand in solitude what your intention is, and what direction are you heading in with that intention. Very important questions for you, Aquarius. Now let's do a tarot spread to see what other information we can gather from this reading for the first week of November for Aquarius. Okay, let's see here. Confidence is an issue here for you, Aquarius. You're worrying about the reaction, maybe. You're not feeling confident in taking that direction. Or you're not feeling confident about the intention. Regardless, solitude is going to be necessary, focusing on the idea of joy as you move forward. Yeah, there's opposing forces here for you, Aquarius. You're feeling 2 different aspects. Maybe the pros and cons are equal. Maybe the energy feels too vulnerable for you to step into one of these options with confidence. You're not sure which way to go. And it's again, very physical. It's a very physical experience, which is interesting because we do have that Ask Body card here. So this is opposing forces that are pulling at your sense of security. So no wonder the confidence is coming up with solar plex, because your I can statements aren't there right now. You're feeling maybe like I can't, or I shouldn't, or I dare not, because it will rob me further of my confidence or identity, or it'll shift my grounding too much. Sometimes this card makes me think about travel because of that watery background with the ship there in the background. Makes me think, maybe is travel a consideration for you as you move through this energy, Aquarius? What is the obstacle? The obstacle is that you've realized something on a mental level. Mentally, logically, you've realized something. Earlier, I said that I felt like you might need to communicate something. So here we are. This is the obstacle. The obstacle for you is going to be this idea of communicating something. It's the beginning of a mental conflict. And that's the challenge for you, is understanding these oppositions mentally. And that's the challenge for you, is to sort of to find a way to understand these opposing forces without creating such a mental conflict that you're paralyzed. It's almost like you're thinking about it so much that you can't make a decision. And that's where this idea of direction comes in, with this cosmic flower guiding you home. I think there is an energy here of a person or a place or a relationship or an experience that you can't stop thinking about it, and you want it back. You want it back. But it's almost like you're asking yourself, at what cost? At what cost do I want this back? And it's interesting to see the Ace of Swords here, because you do have something that looks like an Ace of Wands. And it's almost like that sword is here to cut these two opposing forces, just to cut that red tape, to set you free here. So it's really going to be, you're going to have to change your mind about this in order to feel like you can head off in that direction. But I think it's fair to suggest that solitude will help with this, and that it is a confidence issue. You're not feeling confident to move forward. Yeah, there is a chapter that came to an end, and that's all you can think about, is how it ended. And you don't like how that chapter ended. And it's almost like you want another stab at it. Pardon the pun with this Ace of Swords. But it's like you want another stab at it. You're not happy with how that chapter ended, and you're resisting the idea of moving forward. You're resisting it. You don't want to let it go. You don't want to let that chapter go. It can't be over. It can't be over. It might be over, Aquarius. Who knows? But you're never going to find out until you go for it, though. You know what I mean? You could stay in this land of resistance and limbo and opposing forces for a long time. And I think that's why you're being asked here, you're being guided to go into solitude, to really look at your soul carefully and understand where your soul feels at home and where it feels happy. Where did you feel delight on an inner level, and where did it feel like home? And if that experience is in the past, and what is your intention moving forward then? I feel like there's a decision you're trying to make here, Aquarius. You're trying to make a decision about this situation. And in the recent past, you felt so broken from that experience. But you got up. You got up. You know, this cycle ended, and it was a painful ending, but you got up. And so maybe a part of you is wondering, do I really want to invite that back into my life? This hurt a lot. You know, this caused mental pain. You felt like it was done almost deliberately, like there was, and you took it to heart, right? Like whatever happened here, you took it to heart. You took it very personally. So no wonder your personal power in your solar plex is sort of low. It's low because it hurt. This affected you greatly. You know, it's in the past, but it's coming up. It's coming up again. It's coming up again. And moving forward in the future, we see the Page of Rods in reverse, which says to me that, you know, it's like this moving forward restless feeling. It's like it's challenging you to stay in your focus so much on something that your soul desires and not moving towards it. You know what I mean? Like the energy of the Page of Wands in reverse to me says that, like, you're denying yourself. You're denying yourself something that you feel guided towards. You know what I mean? Like, again, there's a chapter here that you can't let go of. You're resisting the change. It was really painful in the past, and in the future, it's like you're denying yourself something, because I feel like it's will. You're being willful here. Like it's a stubborn sort of willful denial of your own soul's desire. It's like you refuse to initiate. It's a refusal to initiate. So maybe you're not going to go for it in the near future. Maybe you will resist it enough that it will prevent action, right? Very interesting. See, your inner dialogue right now is really one of like, you're curious if anything has changed. And you want, gosh, you really want to explore this with the Page of Swords and the Page of Rods, right? Like you do want to, but again, the confidence is low. So you're not feeling so confident to go charging in, to have a conversation, to express this restless feeling you have, right? Because you don't feel confident to do so, because whatever happened in this dynamic, the way it ended, it didn't end on a note where you feel ready to go in again, but you want to. I think whatever this experience, person, or place was feels like home to you, and you just want it back. You want that feeling back. You feel like that's your direction, your north. It's your north. Isn't that interesting? There's the ace that I was talking about, the Ace of Wands. That's your direction, but you're denying it. You're denying it to yourself. Interesting. Well, it's because you don't want to mess up your comfort zone, right? And you have some boundaries here. You've got boundaries in place because things, when now that this experience is sort of over, you're comfortable. You have boundaries and you're comfortable in your boundaries, but something is coming along to make you feel like it's time to shift those boundaries. And you're wondering if these boundaries are so comfortable, or are they actually a prison? Like there's a part of you that could feel caged by this level of comfort that you've created for yourself. And it's interesting. It's like you might be physically comfortable, but man, your soul is not. And I would argue that your body is only comfortable because you're keeping it in its comfort zone. But that comfort zone is becoming more of a prison than a zone, right? Like the boundary is becoming like it's limiting you instead of helping you expand. Instead of creating a foundation where you can expand, it's actually keeping you staying just as you are, staying as is, but comfortable, but not really. You know what I mean? Like it's like, when people say, "Oh, that's out of my comfort zone," but they're not really comfortable in that comfort zone because it's a very limiting, tiny place. Like it's a very narrow place to exist, and so you have to wonder, is this comfort zone really just a prison, or is it truly a bounded area where you feel comfortable? It's interesting. I was going to say Aries, Aquarius, I feel like this experience that keeps calling out to you is home. You feel like that was home and you want it back, even though it ended on a very troubling note for you. It was very difficult for you, and it impacted your confidence. You don't feel confident moving forward, but man, do you feel the will. You feel driven to this individual place, experience, opportunity, but there's a confidence issue here and opposing forces. You're not certain what the response will be, right? Yeah, that's interesting. You're afraid that there will be a struggle. You're afraid that if you go in to talk or explore this scenario, that there will be a struggle, there will be conflict, there will be sort of this need to face something honestly, and you're freaked out about it. It's like you'd rather avoid that. I feel like you would rather that this just comes back to you. You don't want to be the initiator. That's the issue, is you don't want to initiate this change in direction. And maybe it's because you haven't sorted out what your own intention is yet. And maybe that's why you need to be in solitude to figure out what will really make you happy on an inner soul level. What will make you delight in your soul, right? What will cause that delight? And so maybe you need to think about it more. And maybe once you do that, you won't find it so opposing anymore. But it almost feels like you don't want to be the one to initiate. You don't want to be the one to initiate this. Oh, Ace of Cups for your final card. That really says to me, man, you really want to start over, but you don't want to be the one to initiate it. But you really want to start over. You want to experience a transformative feeling of love, a new level of emotion. And you're really looking at how to do this, how to bring renewal to a situation that's not new. You know what I mean? It's a situation from the past, but you want to renew it. You want to reinvigorate it. You want it to come alive again, because you realize that this comfort zone you've created for yourself in its absence is actually feeling more like a prison. It feels more like a prison than it does a comfortable place. It's not comfortable at all anymore. And you're looking for a direction to head back to this experience. You want this back, but you don't want to reinitiate it yourself. It kind of makes me think that you want to have a conversation with someone, Aquarius, but that you don't want to make the call. You want them to call you. And by the looks of it, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think if you want to hear from this person, or if you want that opportunity back, you're going to have to pick up that wand and go for it. And will you or won't you is up to you. That's totally up to you. But I feel like that's where your happiness lies, your feeling of home, and your confidence. Your confidence is wrapped up with this person. This is very, 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 what's the word? Reminiscent energy to sit in. I feel like I just finished looking at a photo album from a long time ago. You know that feeling you get when you've just like thought about or looked at something in the past? It's interesting. It's very nostalgic feeling that you have here. But it's also very like, I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to be the person to initiate this. That's what I'm getting. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for you, Aquarius. If this has resonated and you would like a personal reading, my email's in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends.